we're back with the top 10 blueprints in my collection. These are my personal favorites, counting down from 10 to 1. Part 1 we did 10 down, including 6. And today we're going to do the top 5. So we're going to kick it off here with one that probably could be higher on the list, really 2 or 3, but we'll put it at 5. It's the Grau, the Wolf Mother. This was part of an amazing bundle. It came with an HDR that was almost meta, and the Wolf Mother itself has all the meta attachments. So, beautiful rifle. And if we go into the sights here, we can see on the side-by-side, the one on the left, the Grau Wolf Mother, has the nice orange tip. So when you're lining up your shots, it's a lot different than the default one. It helps you line up your shots a lot better. It's going to stand out more, especially if you're aiming in a dark area. You're going to see that middle post because it has the orange highlight on it. So that picture really didn't do it justice, but if you try it in game, compare the Wolf Mother to the default Grau, it's quite a difference. So slight advantage there. And like this bundle was amazing what it came with. This Grau, you don't need to put any attachments on it, like literally none. You can just hop into Rebirth and just smoke people with it as is. It does apply camos very nicely, so it's one of those weapons where they go on super clean, unlike the AUG there that we went over earlier. But I do have gold for it, so we tried that. And I'll just change the mag here because I wanted just to show here that the camos do apply to the mag as well, somewhat, like and if you do put a different camo on, it applies to the whole mag. So very nice little feature there. And I'll put some of the other ones on just to show what I mean there, so you can see how it applies nice and clean across the whole weapon. And even a little bit of gold on the, you can see on the suppressor there, where it applies the camos a little bit, so that's a nice little touch too. One thing that I wish they'd do to more weapons. And yeah, this is an excellent weapon. I hear some of the, that one's pretty fire actually. And yeah, that's it for the Grau. Coming in at number 4 is the SA-87 Fishbone. This is a LMG. It looks like an AR though. And one nice thing about this version is you see in the side-by-side the aperture, the middle post is a different color than the side ones. Very useful for lining up shots. So this is going to make our list number 4. And if you kit it out without a sight, like if you keep your tac laser, it has a very good ADS time. And you get to keep your 60-round mags as well. So you could also put like a VLK on it, Scout Combat, or a good optic, but then you're gonna have to sacrifice your tac laser or your mag. So it's a tough balance with this weapon. It is fun to use just iron sights like this, especially on like Rebirth or something. It has good range and good TTKs. Just take a look at the weapon here. It does apply its camos fairly nicely, but I just prefer to keep it stock like this. It looks quite nice. And as far as the build goes, it's going to be your standard build. Now, like I said, you can go one of two ways. You can go with or without the sight, the optic. This way we get to keep the factory barrel, which really helps our range. It even helps with some recoil control, so we don't have to sacrifice that. And then we can go with our 60-round mag and tac laser, so we're going to get that nice ADS time if we run it with the iron sights. So this version's nice to run as iron sights, the other version not so much. And you could also put a sight on it if you want. Now as far as camos go, they apply nice and clean. We'll try a couple blue ones here. Yeah, they look alright. I still prefer the stock look though. I'll try another good blue one here. I like this one, the last of the tiger ones. Oh, and I almost forgot, guys, the Fishbone is part of the Ripple Effect bundle. 500 COD points, you get a emblem and a spray with it. Not that anyone really pays attention to that stuff. Next up at number 3, we have the Odin. It's called the Zord. This blueprint was part of the Guardian bundle, so 500 COD points, not too bad. You get a couple emblems with it too. Really clean looking weapon. Very nice. But the most important thing is it has a clean iron sights, as you can see on the left here. It doesn't have the half moon sight, so as you can see, much easier to line up your targets, I find, with the clean irons. This is just during a warm up here, get a couple kills, but really demonstrates how easy it is to line up your shots with the clean irons. So that's primarily why it's in third place here. This is a heavy hitter. Slow firing, but does a ton of damage and has excellent range. So for the build, we're going to go pretty standard build. We're going to go with the big Colossus suppressor. This thing is huge. The best barrel. We need that tack laser to speed up the ADS. And we go with the Commando foregrip. And it only goes with a 30 round mag. So really a big downside there. But it's a slow firing weapon, so you really don't need a lot of bullets to kill them because it's such a heavy hitter. Camos really don't apply well to this weapon, so I prefer to keep it stock. I like the clean look of it as is. And you might find one that applies, but I prefer to keep it looking like that. At number 2, we have one of my favorite SMGs, the MP7, the Bleach blueprint, part of the Boneyard package. And for 1100 COD points, you also get an AMAX with it, so really good value on this bundle. And as we take a look at it, I put my charm on there, but yeah, very nice looking weapon. The side by side, you can see clearly the sight on the left is thinner and has a nice white dot. So much prefer that to the stock factory one. And just doing a little killing here in the warm up with it, but it has excellent range too. And that white dot in the middle really helps line up your shots. Obviously, I missed a few here, but you can just tell like it's a thinner middle post, and just a fun weapon to use overall. So highly recommend this one. And for the build, I go for the more of the long range build with the monolithic suppressor. And the good thing about this one is there's another free MP7 called the Mud Dropper. Most people have it. You can do it through random missions and things like that. But it has a monolithic suppressor that looks really good on this one. So you can put that nice monolithic on it and really make it look good. Under barrel is just the standard Commando. And another thing, here's the 60 round from the Mud Dropper. And the Mud Dropper was available through certain challenges in game. Hopefully they bring those back because it is a free MP7. And it comes with some really nice attachments that you can put on the Bleach version here. There's not much I can say for camos on this weapon. I just prefer the way it looks as is. And on top of that, the camos don't really apply very well anyways, as you can see here. And finally, we get to number 1, the HDR Oceanographer. Extremely rare sniper rifle. It's part of the Tacticolor 2 bundle. And unfortunately, they just don't put this in the store often enough, like once or twice a year. It comes with an interesting shotgun as well. But this thing is a beauty, and the main reason is the very unique scope to it that makes it stand out. And like I said before, they don't put it in the store, maybe once or twice a year. And so if you see it in the store, and you want to do some long range sniping, definitely pick it up. Here's the side by side with the default scope, and as you can tell, the Oceanographer is a lot more clear and has a better visibility overall. You can see in the video here, this is the default scope, and then we'll switch it over to the HDR, and we'll zoom in the same mountain, and a lot better visibility here. So this scope is one of a kind, extremely rare and unique, and that's why it's number 1 on this list. We do a weapon inspect here, and we'll do some gameplay, just messing around in Clash a little bit. Gonna try and get some long shots here. As you can tell, the body damage isn't as high as it should be, in my opinion. It should be up on the same level as the Swiss and the ZRG and the SPR. Like, they all do massive body damage. Unfortunately, the HCR doesn't do near as much as they do, but you want to be going for headshots with this anyways. So it's still a one-shot headshot. And with a nice big clear scope like this, it shouldn't be a tall order. Especially even at longer ranges, like past 200 meters, you're going to be finding it quite a bit easier with the scope. So it's definitely a lot of fun. You get on some maps and just cross-map people. I think my record with this is 700 maybe? 700 meters? I definitely have some 650s from Verdansk, and it's definitely easy to pull off with this. Not easy, but it's a lot easier with the scope. Now going into the build here, there's a few changes we want to make from the normal Oceanographer to make it the most competitive version. So we want the HDR Pro barrel. That's not even a question there. Monolithic suppressor. I did have the Feral monolithic suppressor from the Grau bundle that we talked about earlier. So it looks really good on this. So I swapped that on. And we're going to go with the beautiful Oceanographer scope, of course. That's the whole reason for this blueprint, really. And just going to put on a reticle. I usually like the second one, or the cover shot's also good. But that's all personal preference. As far as camos go, this one here is not going to apply them well, unfortunately, as you'll see when we get to it. But there is a way around that. And it is to go with the Feral one I've talked about here. That came with the Grau bundle, the Feral HDR. So with the Feral HDR, they go on super clean. If you look at this, they're just not looking good at all. That one looks okay-ish. And this blue one didn't really apply very well, but after this, I'll show you what they look like with the Feral. So here's the Feral. And this is, like I said, this is the one that came with the Grau, as we mentioned earlier. So now what we can do is put the variable zoom scope from the Oceanographer on here, which is pretty cool. So basically any HDR we have now, we can put that on. And we're going to put the nice monolithic suppressor on there. And now we can look at the camos. And these are going to go on super clean. So you can see that's a lot nicer. So basically all I did was swap the scope over to this version. Then I can get the nice clean camos and have the nice Oceanographer scope. So get the best of both worlds there, and we're good to go. So here's some of the skull camos. Some people like to see these. I don't think I really use any of these, but I usually just go with the other one. Well, that's going to do it, guys. That's my top 10 blueprints, favorites in my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed. And like I mentioned earlier, I will be bringing along another video of ones that didn't make this list, so my honorable mentions. Some of them are free. Actually, a lot of them are free, and maybe there'll be one or two you don't know about, and you can go ahead and pick that up. So stay tuned for that one, and thanks for watching.